Hello for the 16th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The title was Hospitality. Using all three readings, Genesis 18, Colossians 1, 24 to 28, Luke 10, 38 to 42. Hospitality in all the readings. It's sort of interesting. First is Abraham. He's hospitable. He meets these three young men and he invites them in to freshen themselves, and then he tells his wife Sarah to fix something for them, make them supper. Okay. The second reading is Paul, and Paul is bragging about all his difficulties and sufferings, and he's helping to make up for what Jesus did in his suffering, death, and resurrection of his sufferings, like he needs help. And then, as far as in the another hospitality, Lazarus, Martha, and Mary, and how Martha complains that Mary's just sitting and talking to Jesus, not doing any of the work. And they're hospitable. Well, I just think it's sort of interesting as far as the verse. Don't you feel sorry for Sarah in the first reading, the book of Genesis? When Abraham does all the inviting, then it tells her to go cook and get it all together, do all the work. And then, as far as in the second reading, Paul takes, Jesus needs help. I need to suffer to make up for what he didn't do and needed. Really? I don't know about by that. Then finally, then probably the most interesting, at least to me, is the Lazarus and Martha and Mary, where Jesus is invited into their home, their friends, and Martha does all the work, and Mary sits there talking to Jesus, and where I don't know where Lazarus is. But they are friends and they are hospitable to Jesus, but Martha is upset because she's done all the work. Hospitality. Hospitality is one of the basic concepts, I think, of Christianity. Jesus comes into the world, and I don't know how hospitable the world was to Jesus, but he certainly was hospitable to all people in the world. Isn't that interesting? In fact, if you really boil it down to a few words in the Old Testament, 5 words in particular, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's in the Old Testament. And Jesus uses that often in the law. What's the most important part? What's the most important commandment? And one of the parts is love your neighbor as yourself. Hospitality. We're called to love other people, invite them into our home, do things for them, and be hospitable to your next door neighbor, to the person on the street, to everyone. That's a tall order. And I think it is really important to the invitation of Jesus to be his follower, to make all hospitable to you and your environment. So I think, in as far as here at Box Christi Church, where I help out, is this parish hospitable to the people who come through those doors? There's 5 doors in the back there. And do we welcome them into our community? Does our RCIA program, are they hospitable? Are they welcoming them into the community? And does the community, all of us, invite people to entertain the possibility of joining our community? Isn't that what it's all about? And then in our homes, are we hospitable to other people? I think our home was when I grew up. We had all the neighbors over and all the people over, and it seems like they gravitated toward our home. I think we were hospitable, or not maybe we, but my mom and dad, hospitable to other people, and not just my little small group. Hmm. Hospitality. What's going on in our country now is our country, practicing hospitality to the um, people coming in or trying to come in. I know we got problems and so forth, but really, our country is set up on an attitude toward hospitality and helping other people. And I know it's complicated, but is our country continuing to be as hospitality as in the past? Hmm. I don't know, but as far as but these people, I sort of hold it against Abraham what he does to his wife Sarah. Go fix him some stuff. And Paul bragging about that he suffers because of that to make up for what Christ didn't do. Don't understand that one at all. And then I think I understand Martha upset because her sister is just sitting down there doing nothing to entertain, well, to help hospitality in that family of three, Lazarus, Martha, and Mary. Mary just sits there and doesn't help. Well, at any rate, hospitality is really important, not just in our families, not just in our churches, but also in our country. And let's let the good ones come in. Let's do it properly. Let's have a process and do it with love. Because love really is part of hospitality. Love your neighbor as yourself. Christ seemed to be very hospitable with people. He loved the goody and the sinner. He loved you and me. And I think the last of all, do you think heaven is practices hospitality? Do they welcome all to heaven? Or only a few? Or half? Good questions. Hospitality is important in life. Do you practice hospitality? Have a good day.